Welcome back to In Case You Missed It Wrestling. I am your host, Blackhawk. And for all my video watchers, I know you've noticed I'm wearing the same thing as I was in the last two episodes because I have recorded all of these in sequence. Didn't feel like changing. But we're still here for Smackdown. It's Friday, Friday, some would say. And Smackdown last week was a pretty good show. With a lot coming out of SmackDown as it's the only 3-hour show, so we should get right into it if we want to try to keep under that 30-minute limit. Rey Mysterio would start the show and welcomes everyone to SmackDown. He says it feels great to be out in front of his people and his family because they were in San Diego, which is his home and where his family lives. After saying how proud he is to be here, he declares for the Royal Rumble and looks back on the 2006 Royal Rumble where he entered number 2 and would go all the way to winning and go on to WrestleMania 22 where he would become the World Heavyweight Championship. Says the competition is heavy and he won the 2006 Royal Rumble because of a friend that we all know in Eddie. Kevin Owens would interrupt him and say that he apologizes for the interruption, but he heard that he was going to enter the Rumble and says he respects Rey more than anyone on the entire roster. Kevin Owens would recall all of his Mania moments and say that he has won countless titles, and he stands there with the championship belt that he would watch people win as a kid, that he dreamed of winning when he was a child, and now he is the rightful holder of the title belt. We all know that is not true. He says there is one thing that he has left to accomplish, and that is a match with Rey Mysterio. Says he's rooting for Rey because he wants to face him at Mania for his championship. Rey said he would love to challenge Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens isn't champion. Cody is. Rey Mysterio would say if he wins the Royal Rumble and Kevin Owens beats Cody Rhodes, he would be more than glad to face him at WrestleMania. Kevin Owens says that he is a champion and that he earned it and he deserves it. That Cody has brainwashed him too. Rey Mysterio would fire back with saying that Kevin Owens is acting delusional, just like his son Dominic, which would cause Kevin Owens to attack Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio would end up standing tall on this, and Kevin Owens would walk back to the locker room. We would see backstage with Bianca and Naomi. Now, last week they had a number one contenders match for the women's championship for tonight, and Bianca and Naomi would have to face off against each other, and Naomi ended up getting whipped with Bianca's hair. So Bianca wants to know after last week that they are good and wants to say that she is sorry to Naomi. Naomi says it's okay and they need to focus on tonight as they have a championship match against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. We would move backstage with Nick Aldis and Rey Mysterio. Nick Aldis would say he appreciates Rey for keeping his patience and he will give him what he wants, which is a match against KO tonight. Cody would walk out and say he saw what happened but was tied up at medical. Otherwise, he would have been there. Rey says he can take care of KO and tells Cody he needs to be healthy and needs to heal up. Aldis agrees with Rey and asks what the doc says. Cody says that he is good to go for the Rumble. Aldis says there's a lot of time between the Rumble and even more time between Mania, and he wants to make sure that Cody is good. Because Cody is face of the company, the top champion, the guy in WWE. Nick Aldis would also say he has an addendum to the match stipulations and needs Cody Rhodes to sign it. Cody would tell Nick Aldis that he would sign it when Kevin Owens does. We would cut to the arena with Nia Jax and Candice LeRae making their entrance, followed up by Naomi and Bianca. Very good match. It's pretty standard for the women that are involved in this match. Nia Jax has been putting on some fantastic matches since she has made her return. Candice LeRae, I think, is the most underrated women's wrestler on the SmackDown roster. A lot of people don't look at her for really good matches, but knowing her history and knowing what she can do, she can put on some killer matches, and I can't wait to see her break out on her own and be able to show that she can do that. Naomi and Bianca, as always, have been main event talents since they have made their start, and we just expect them to put on a great match, and they did. This is exactly how I expected it to go. Bianca and Naomi would win. Great match, fun to watch. Naomi and Bianca will make their way down to NXT to face off against the Meta Girls next week. So we will be seeing a pretty good match next week. Bayley and Byron Saxton had a short interview before the show kicked off that they showed. He would ask what this night meant to her. She said it means a lot for her to be in front of a sold-out crowd fighting for the title. She said around this time last year, she would win the Royal Rumble and go on to win the title at WrestleMania, but she doesn't feel that she lived up to the role and the potential of the title, and I can kind of agree. I love Bayley, but her title reign wasn't super memorable. The one with Nia Jax has been more memorable than the one with Bayley, in my opinion. But she says her title run was cut short and she aims to get it back. She feels tonight is different because Tiffany Stratton has made this personal. We see Michin and B-Fab backstage talking, and I believe we'll be seeing a lot more out of B-Fab as the Street Profits are recovering right now from a few injuries. And I think when the Street Profits get back, we'll really see this SmackDown tag team division just explode. Michin would go on to say that she would have beat Chelsea if it wasn't for Piper, and B-Fab says that she will 100% get another opportunity. Piper Niven and Chelsea Green would interject and says Michin should stand up and congratulate her since she is the only woman to ever defend the belt in the title's history. B-Fab would say if it wasn't for her mall cop, then she would have never been champion. Piper steps in and B-Fab challenges her to a match. And we would get that later on in the night. We get a Jimmy Uso promo before his match saying that he's proud of his brother, but now it's his time to prove that he deserves to be there. It's his time to get his tonight. And between him and Carmelo, Big Jim is him, which is a bar. Killed that one. Carmelo Hayes would make his entrance and point out that he is living in the shadow of Jey Uso, who is living in the shadow of Roman Reigns. He asks Jimmy how he's going to take shots at him while he's sitting on the bench and tells him to lace up his boots because he is about to show him why Melo don't miss. This is a really good match between Jimmy Uso and Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is an extremely young talent and has such a high ceiling. I've seen a lot of people complain that he's not getting the opportunity they think he deserves. But I think people need to understand that this is part of his character. He's swinging for the fences, and he's not always going to make a hit, but when he does, it's going to be huge. Like, he's had matches with the top wrestlers on the SmackDown roster and showed out in every single one of them, was amazing in every single one of them. And I think that's what matters at this point in his career more than high quality wins and championship wins. He's still very young. He has a lot of time with the WWE. He probably still has 20 to 25 years left in the ring for WWE. I have no doubt he will be the top of the roster within, the next 10 years. But a lot of people are upset that he would go from the top of the roster to NXT to the bottom of the roster on SmackDown, which, it makes a lot of sense. But we have seen people like Braun Breaker and Tiffany Stratton that have kind of skyrocketed up to the top. But I believe that Carmelo Hayes' time is coming. It's coming very soon. We just gotta be patient and let some things work out. But Jimmy Uso impressed me so much with this match. He has kicked himself into a high gear and a new gear ever since coming back from that injury, and it's been so awesome to watch because Jay has been able to take the time and become a single star and set himself apart, and Jimmy is finally getting the time to set himself apart, and he is doing great. He's doing awesome at that. He's really working very hard to set himself apart, and he's doing great. This match would have no official winner as it was interrupted by Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu that would attack Jimmy Uso. Melo would think that he is in with the bloodline and everything is cool, but then they would just turn and attack him. Solo Sikoa would make his appearance, make his way down to the ring, stand in the middle of the ring with a microphone, and literally get booed out of the arena. He would get booed, drop the mic, and leave without saying a single word. Jacob Fatu would pick up the mic, and if they don't put a belt on this man soon, I don't know what they're waiting on. He would pick up the mic and say he is tired of the disrespect, the hate, and the envy that even on his bad days, the people in the arena, the wrestlers in the backstage can't touch him. He doesn't care if people cheer or boo him. The one thing that he won't let you do is act like he hasn't gotten his. He would say that people started to think he was crazy and he was losing it. But the crazy thing is, he's just getting started. I got chills watching that, and I'm ready for the Jacob Fatu breakout. I can't wait for that. I really do think we will get Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tongaloa together and maybe potentially get Zilla Fatu in there as well. There's a few other family members that are working for WWE or working around WWE that haven't made their move into the storyline yet. So I'm interested to see what happens with all that. LA Knight would come out and attack Tama and Jacob from behind, which sounds like a pretty dumb move, and it was. He almost got absolutely destroyed before Braun Strowman would come out to help him. Jacob and Braun square off before Tama Tonga pulls him out of the ring. We'd move backstage to see Legado del Fantasma. Santos is talking to Los Garza, saying that they have proved themselves last week and made pretty deadly choke on their own words. But one win doesn't make them champions, but beating Motor City Machine Guns can. They have to take the respect they deserve. I think we were in it for a big year for Legado del Fantasma and Los Garza, and I'm super excited about it, especially with, I talked about it a little bit on Monday, but the WWE has signed some incredible luchadors to the company, and I believe they're making a big push for a lucha style within the WWE and booking lucha talent at the top of the roster. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for the future for Los Garza and Legado del Fantasma. And I'm also excited for the LWO, even though they haven't really made a group appearance anytime soon. We'll move into Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. A very good match. Very, very, very good match. I think, like I said, I think this is going to be a big year for Los Garza. Pretty Deadly would come out to try to distract Motor City Machine Guns, but would end up costing Los Garza the match. And Motor City Machine Guns would take the win for the #1 contender spot. Now, they haven't set a match yet for the titles, but we can expect to be seeing it probably either at the Rumble or Saturday Night Main Event. As always, I am recording this a week ahead, so they may announce this during the week, and I'm just behind on the information. We'll move into Nick Aldis backstage with Kevin Owens, and he asks Kevin Owens to sign the contract just like he asked Cody. And Kevin gives him the exact same response that Cody did, that he will not sign it until Cody signs. From there, we would move into Piper Niven versus B-Fab. And like I talked about earlier, I'm glad B-Fab is getting some time on TV. I think she's an incredible talent. And I think with more time, she 100% has the chance to be a champion very soon. She is, the target audience for the United States Championship, right? She's somebody who just needs a chance to show that she can go and she has what it takes to be at the top of the card. But she just needs that chance, and the United States Championship is that chance for her. Piper Niven would end up winning pretty clean, with Chelsea not interfering too much. But Chelsea and Piper Niven would attack B-Fab after the match, with Michin coming out to save B-Fab. I suspect we will get a tag team match between the two groups very, very soon. We'd move backstage with Tiffany Stratton and Byron Saxton. Byron says that Tiffany made history Tiffany would cut him off and say that she made tiffstery. She made tiffstery, not history. Byron asked how she's feeling going into her first defense and says that Bailey has a lot of accomplishments last year, but so did she. She doesn't need to recreate those moments because those moments are right now. Going from that, we would go into the Kevin Owens versus Rey Mysterio match. Absolutely amazing match. Rey Mysterio has still got it at his age. It's incredible to watch him go because there are people that are the same age as Rey Mysterio that are having trouble walking right now. And Rey Mysterio is out there doing flips. He's jumping off the top rope, doing all kinds of crazy stuff still at his age. It's incredible to watch. I love Rey Mysterio. I've loved him as a kid, love him now. Nothing would ever make me hate Rey Mysterio. Kevin Owens looks great going into the Rumble as well. Kevin Owens is also one of those people that, since he debuted in the company, I've been a big fan of. And I'm glad he's starting to get back around to this spotlight. It was kind of sad to see him be out of it for so long, but I'm glad he's finally getting this opportunity to be in the spotlight at the top of the card and be an important player in the week-to-week episodes of Smackdown. Kevin Owens would win this match, and he starts to show respect for Rey Mysterio, but then tries to get him for the package pile driver. Cody Rhodes would come out and save Rey Mysterio. We go backstage with Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis. Aldis would say that he tried to be patient with him and Kevin, and now they are out of control. Saturday night main event, they will have a contract signing with Shawn Michaels moderating it. So I look forward to going to go down there. That's going to be kind of crazy, but it should be pretty fun. Should be a good moment. The Saturday night main event is interesting to me because the first one they announced and pre-booked ahead of time, but this one they have almost not talked about at all up until this SmackDown. So that will be tomorrow night. Like I said, on Monday, we'll have an episode about that coming out Wednesday after the NXT episode. And I believe I'll be live that night watching it on here and on Twitch. If you want to come join, it should be a pretty good time. We would go from the Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis segment to a Pretty Deadly and DIY segment. DIY says they were supposed to help Los Garza win, not Motor City Machine Guns. But Pretty Deadly points out that they have beaten them before, so what's one more time? Tommaso Ciampa would go in on Pretty Deadly and call them a joke, and that everyone here is laughing at them. Tells them if they want a shot at the titles, become men. Gargano would tell Pretty Deadly that it's just tough love, but he is right that they need to step up their game. Apollo Crews would come out of nowhere after DIY would walk away and tell Pretty Deadly that DIY is stringing them along and has gotten Pretty Deadly nowhere. Pretty Deadly would walk away from that, and Gargano would attack Apollo Crews and tell Apollo to keep their name out of his mouth. We would get a Charlotte Flair video package, which is extremely exciting. It means that Charlotte Flair will be returning soon. How soon? We don't know. Rumble. The Rumble is a big contender for her to return, but Charlotte Flair could return at any moment, and I would be just as excited as if she returned at the Rumble. The women's division on SmackDown, you can feel, is missing a key piece, and that key piece is Charlotte Flair. As a multi champion and just one of the best women's wrestlers they have on that roster, she has been missed greatly. I look forward to her returning. I am in the crowd that believes that she will return in the Rumble. I have a feeling she will win the Rumble and go on to face Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. So I'm very, very, very excited for the future of the women's division on SmackDown. I think they have a lot of good things coming. I'm not as excited about the women's division for Raw. I think they've still got a few bugs to work out, but they could be at a very, very good spot very soon. So we'll just have to see how things work out, and where things go, especially with Rhea now champion. She's probably got a laundry list of people waiting to get in the ring with her and take that away from her. We'd move into Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley right after the Charlotte Flair video package, and we would see Roxanne is in the crowd for the night. So it further pushes the idea that Roxanne will be making a main roster appearance very soon. She could also be an entry into the Royal Rumble, but we will just have to see. Well, we've got a couple weeks. They haven't really announced anything for the Women's Royal Rumble outside of Nia Jax. So I'm really intrigued on who else will be in there. They don't have a huge women's roster on the main roster. So I'm assuming after the TNA partnership that was announced, we will see some TNA stars, we'll see some NXT stars, and we'll see some of these main roster women make an appearance at the Rumble. Tiffany Stratton put on an incredibly impressive match, seeing some things out of her that I don't think I thought I'd ever see. She's pulling out some moves that very closely look like what Imperium and Gunther and Kaiser do. So she's definitely picking up some moves from them. She's definitely working with them. And by God, if that's what she's going to do, she can stay champion for as long as she wants. She can be champion and put on matches like this. I'm more than happy to keep Tiffany Stratton as champion for as long as she can keep this up. Bayley would also be awesome as well. We know Bayley can put on some really, really good matches and excels when it's her time to shine. But Tiffany Stratton would end up winning this match clean. So no interference, no nothing, just Bayley and Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany Stratton would take the win. So we don't know what's next for Tiffany Stratton in the championship, and we didn't even get any announcements for Friday Night SmackDown tonight at the point of me recording this, so I don't even have anything to tell you about tonight, which is kind of disappointing for me because I have nothing to look forward to. But match of the night by far was Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. Incredible match. And I think, Motor City Machine Gun is a world-class tag team. And both members of Los Garza are second generation luchadors. And I'm super excited to see what they can cook up in the future with the SmackDown tag team roster. The SmackDown tag team roster is the best in the WWE without a doubt. No questions. Raw really doesn't have that many tag teams, but SmackDown has the best tag teams on the show. And so I assume we will see a switch up pretty soon. They might have to take some talent off of SmackDown and move them over to Raw because they have said that they want to push the tag teams to new heights. So I don't really know how they're going to do that with Raw. SmackDown, it's going to be fine. They're going to be fine on SmackDown. Raw is the question here. But we do have something to look forward to tomorrow in Saturday Night Main Event. We'll see Braun Strowman take on Jacob Fatu, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens contract signing moderated by Shawn Michaels, Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship was announced. So Saturday Night Main Event looks like an incredible card. At the time of this recording, they still have time to add or drop something. So we'll see what we have for tomorrow. Like I said, I will be live for that. I will be live for SmackDown tonight. So if you want to come join, come hang out. Love to have you around. But for this episode of In Case You Missed It Wrestling, that is it. I am Blackhawk, and I will see you next week for Monday Night Raw. Peace.